Good morning from hell. That's the only way I know how to start this. Also, before we get into it, get into this sweatshirt. Hold on. Get into it. I really don't know how to start. Where do we begin? I've been cycling in my mind about what I was gonna bring to this session for the last 3 weeks. I planned to make a video last week. I planned to make a video the week before. I had 2 paid weeks off work. How sick? Guess what I did the whole time? I was sick. It's giving that thing where your body knows it's in a safe place and you crumble. It's like a trauma response. When you don't have to be in survival mode anymore, your immunity just plummets. So I've been ill for going on a month now. I'm blaming capitalism. Cause tell me why I'm back to work I've worked 3 days now. I'm done. I'm over it. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Let me just have a little bit of my beverage. Not Gatorade, by the way. It's an edible. Yeah, I wanted to come on here and talk about my New Year's resolutions and the things that I want to bring into the new year, and talk about how I shaved my head and I can't fucking think about anything except for Minneapolis is now at the center of another violent white supremacist thing. My mind is just reeling on that. Don't know if you read the sweatshirt. Welcome to Minneapolis, burning 3rd precinct. That's what we got going on back there. A bit of context. I lived in Minneapolis for 1/3 of my life. I lived in Minneapolis for my adult formative years. I moved there to the Twin Cities when I was 17. And lived there till I was damn near 30. And let's also be clear, I moved out because I was tired of the racism. I was tired of being micro and macro aggressed. Not to mention, it's just the site of a lot of personal pain and trauma that really stemmed from me learning about myself due to all these fucking police killings. Let's see who I can name off the top of my head. Jamar Clark, Philando Castile, George Floyd, Amir Locke. The names elude me, right? But the pain is here. And it bubbles up and it rises and it turns into fire when something else happens. In Minneapolis specifically. Cause why, right? And then we have this liberal hero of a fuck ass mayor saying, "ICE, get the fuck out, and everybody's, good job, mayor. Bro, this is the same guy we called Mr. Pee Pee Poo Poo Man. Yeah, I know, it's fucked up. It is. What's wrong with your eye? Everybody's getting fucking cataracts. Come here. You hate it. Me too. The vibes are terrible. I know. I agree. Why don't you sit with your baby? Why don't you lay down? Anyway, Minneapolis feels like an experiment. Minneapolis feels like a place where cops, the feds, any upper echelon white supremacist can fuck around and get away with it. And I don't really understand why. Because I'm just a bitch who lived there, right? Like, I don't know all the inner workings of everything that goes on in the city. But what I do know is that Target owns just about everything in Minneapolis. Target also is responsible for training the police on surveillance. Don't get it twisted. It's not the other way around. It's not the police giving Target tactics on how to catch shoplifters. No. It is Target having implemented specific surveillance techniques that they want to share with the world. And this is the same company that owns the basketball stadium, the baseball field, and really just about everything in the city of Minneapolis. Like, everything's named after Target. Everybody works at Target, or they know somebody who works at Target. And I don't mean like red shirt, walkie-talkie employee, no, like corporate. I have personally had no less than 2 bosses that have worked directly for Target. Where am I going with all this? I don't fucking know. It feels like a deep cut. It feels like a severe wound. I want to be in those streets so badly right now. And for what? To scream and be mad. And I don't really know. Like, I was in them streets in 2020. You better believe. Damn near got ran over by a semi-truck. Which I don't think people outside of people who were at that event even know about. A giant march, we took over the highway, and some op in his semi-truck didn't give a fuck. Ran through the entire crowd. And you better believe that crowd ran after him. I don't know, Minneapolis is this love and hate thing. I love the passion of those people. I hate how racist it is. And it's like a scary, insidious type of racism. Like, I will invite you into my home so I can learn everything about you to then shit on it and shit on you, be violent to you, because I have like this arsenal. It's very cold, very calculating, very manipulative. People call it Minnesota nice. I don't fuck with that. But I do think about how there will be people in the streets. There will be people fighting off against these ICE agents because that's what people in Minneapolis do. They don't give a fuck. And I don't know where I'm going with this train of thought. It's just like, we was really in those streets in 2020. We were really taking over the streets. We had an autonomous zone that in some ways still now, 5.5 years later, continues to be a semi-autonomous zone. That's big. But it's on such a small scale and in such a place that people deem irrelevant to the zeitgeist. It's really wild. It's giving experiment. It's giving, we can test the waters. It's just Minneapolis. It's not Chicago. It's not New York. It's not LA, where things are on a much greater scale, where people are more focused. It's fucking weird. And I know that that lady who got shot was like doing her, what she perceived as her duty as a neighbor in her neighborhood. South Minneapolis, very specific neighborhood, very community oriented, in like a let's band together type of way, neighbors looking out for neighbors. Speaking from experience. I don't know the whole story. I don't know everything. I heard that her car was being used to block off a street along with other cars so that ICE could not get in. That's what people do for each other there. She's becoming this like martyr for the cause, and how far will it go? How far will it go? How far will the outrage reach? You know? I got a little lost in my mind. I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't like being politically aware, politically informed. I'm the type of bitch that used to, every hour on the hour, listen to the NPR news updates 8 hours a day. I'll be listening to The Daily. I'll be listening to Democracy Now! I'll be listening to any news podcast I could get my grubby little ears on. And all that fucking shit did was make me depressed and feel really helpless and feel really hopeless. Now I live in a city where I have no connections, I have no community, I have no support system. And so hearing about this shit and feeling this anger, this rage that I have nowhere physically to express it, just makes me feel like I'm on fire, like my skin is on fire. And I'm thinking about all the other things that I have been privy to in the last week. Venezuela, the US apparently commandeering a Russian boat. And when I hear stuff like that, like this Russian boat thing feels like a tidbit. I saw one TikTok with about 3,500 likes on it. And it feels very interesting that is happening. At the same time, everybody else is in an uproar about somebody getting shot by ICE agents. It kind of feels like, watch this hand. Well, this hand is actually doing something equally egregious. And perhaps with way bigger consequences. I don't know how to get back into the mindset of new year, new me, time to try new things, time to express myself in different ways, because all I want to do is scream. And I do believe that there is real power in art as resistance, and that's always where my mind goes when shit like this happens. It's like I need to make art that screams for me. And also at the same time, I'm fucking tired. I've been at work for 3 days. I don't actually want to quit because I want to receive money. But like I could catch me in the wrong moment, I could quit immediately, expeditiously. And I don't know where I'm going with all this. The point is to say I am full of rage. I would like an outlet for my rage. And I can make this for myself. And also, I'm tired and have very little resources. And that's just it, right? Like, I gotta do what I can with what I got. And I think that's true for all of my life. But it's like, I feel this urgency. And it just gets like it rises up out of me and gets stuck in my throat. Cause like, what do? I have to go to work. I have to go to work, and I have to go be around people who could not give less of a shit that this is happening. This means nothing to them. It is inconsequential. I'm thinking about how people in my hometown are now like gonna be in the streets for days, for weeks. Not to mention, ICE is still in the streets. ICE is still there. I'm thinking about when they bring that rampage back to Chicago. Not like they've already spent months here. People are not collective with their rage like they should be. Thank you. I don't know. I thought I was gonna come have fun, cute stuff to say. Talking about how I want to do more pop-ups this year. And I want to make more art and make more clothes. And maybe that is still the answer. Maybe that is still the answer to how I deal with all of this. But I just feel a little bit frozen right now, a little bit stuck. And because I work in an industry where, like, I'm the only employee in my situation at any given time, I have no one to commiserate about this with. I have no other working class people in my bubble on a daily basis to empathize with me, to sympathize with me. Pause. I'm all over the place today. Even though maybe I'm not. It just feels like I couldn't come here and talk about the things that I thought I was going to talk about. Because I live in such a dystopian fucking place and time, and I'm aware of it, and it matters to me, that it is all that's in me. And I don't know what to do. I don't know who I can turn to talk about this. I don't know how to weaponize my rage in a way that is impactful. And I would really like to do that. And I guess I have some thinking to do, because me just like venting about it to a camera is not helpful really in any other way than maybe to soothe my physical body. But honestly, the more I'm talking about it, my shoulders are rising, my heart is racing, I'm getting more mad, because in an hour from now, I have to go step outside of this house where things make sense, where white supremacy is so. In an hour, I'll have to leave my house, go out, exist within the matrix, put on a happy enough face that I don't have to explain myself to my white overseers, and not resent every white person that exists so much that I quit my job on the spot. I just have to get through it, come home, medicate myself into oblivion, into being able to go to sleep at night, and then try again. I don't know. Like, what do we do? How do I, as somebody with no support system, who is disabled, who is burned out, how do I do something that is meaningful to the culture? Is what I have to figure out. Because I'm not just gonna sit here and be like, how do I do that? Like, I'm gonna make a plan. It's just I'm in what for me is my first stage of grief, and I am grieving. Like, what am I even grieving is the question, right? Because in my incredibly convoluted, and I mean convoluted in the way of like it has been very shaped by my very negative experiences and my understanding of white supremacy, for me, like, it feels like we need some more martyrs. It feels like there need to be more white people who are willing to lay their lives on the line, because until white people get mad, the people with the power, the people on the top of the hierarchy, like, until they are mad enough to do something, nothing is gonna fucking change. So I can be as mad as I want. I can find my people who will be mad with me. And to that point, we still do not have strength in numbers. Anyway, here's a list of 5 things that I want to do this year that I think can actively contribute to me resisting against this oppression. I want to talk more, and I want to talk more in a way that actively and accurately expresses how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. I'm only going to be able to do that if I do more practice, so expect weekly videos of me spewing what may seem to be nonsense. It's making sense to me, it's clocking to me, and that's really all that matters, because it actually only has to make sense for me to do it. It only has to make sense to me for me to do it. And I don't have to explain myself to anybody. Number 2, I want to get deeply into the practice of making music, playing instruments, singing, learning new instruments, learning songs, writing my own songs, like making a racket, making noise. And I want that to be a daily practice. Number 3, I want to get strong. I want to fuel my body in a way where I'm not afraid if a man happens to be, in too close of proximity to me at any given time, because I know that I could kick their ass. What else? Number 4, I want to make more art, and I want it to be a practice that is true to me. I don't want to be making my art for the intent of it being purchased, bought, sold for somebody else. Because again, it actually only has to make sense to me for me to do it, and I don't have to explain myself to anybody. I think my art will be much better if I do that. And I want to be in a conscious practice of making art that makes sense to me, that helps me process my feelings, process my trauma, and in a way that is a little bit fearless. And number 5, we're going to bring it back to the first one. I need to talk more. I need to express more. I have been locked up within myself for far too long. And while I can't blame anybody for my reaction to my traumas, I know that it is the trauma that I've experienced with in very specific people, which has changed how I communicate and how I even process my thoughts. So I'm cracking this head open. I'm stopping overthinking everything, and I'm just gonna do what feels right and makes sense to me, because it only has to make sense to me. This one's a wild one, y'all. Again, I made this video for myself. I'll be posting it on YouTube for myself. If it resonated with you, if it made any shred of a lick of sense, let me know. I hope you stay safe. I hope you keep your people safe. I hope you know where they are. And stay fucking mad. Stay angry, because it's sometimes the only thing we have. Right now, it's what I have. And I'm gonna stay angry. And I'm going to also use that anger to fuel my responses, whatever that may be. I'm gonna start saying shit immediately. Anyway, love you, bye.